Hi, so my name is Amy Olinger. This is my second video ever, and I just felt like I've had MS for 11 years and I've learned a lot, and I'll always be learning more, but I just felt like I could really help some people, give some people hope. Because when I first found out I had MS, I didn't know what to think, and I didn't understand it, and I kind of thought it was like just a really bad thing that I couldn't heal on my own. Anyways, so I'm going to go over the first steps that I went through after I found out I had MS. So basically, I had seen a video about a doctor who healed her own. I didn't even know what MS was. So I got an email explaining symptoms that you might have MS and not know it. So then I went to the neurologist and I found out I did have MS. And I had gotten a video shortly, like maybe an article, I'm not sure. But I had gotten I think it was an article shortly after that, talking about a doctor who had MS and how she healed it herself. So I did not even know what MS was at this point. I don't even know why I watched that first article, read the first article, or saw the next article. I have no idea. Anyways, I'm still getting used to this, so I'm a little bit nervous. But anyways, so basically, this article about this doctor, her name is Dr. Terry Wahls, Terry, and Wahls. And I don't even know why I read it, because I did not know what MS was, and I didn't know I had it at that point. But for some reason, I looked at it. I forget what it exactly was. I think it was an article more than a video, because it was 11 years ago. But anyways, so she had relapsing, remitting MS that came and got worse over time, but it turned into progressive MS, and she got very sick, and she ended up in a tilt recline wheelchair, and I don't want to cry. No doctor could help her. So like one day she's like, you know what? And she was dying. And she's like, you know what? This is crap. So I'm going to figure this out myself. So she started doing research on the nutrients that rebuild the myelin sheath around your nerves, the covering to your nerves that starts to break down, which is the problem with MS. And so she did this research on all these nutrients. And she's a doctor. She's brilliant. And so she found the nutrients that rebuild the covering to your nerves, to people's nerves. And she started taking supplements, and nothing changed. And she's like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? So she did research on which foods provide those nutrients. And she started eating those foods. And she has a whole protocol and a whole book that explains everything. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And she started eating those foods. And this is the crazy part. It took her 10 months I don't know exactly the timeline, but pretty much in 10 months, she went from a tilt recline wheelchair to riding horses and traveling the world, teaching people that the American diet is killing us and making us very sick. And I'm sure it took her a while for it to start kicking in, but I'm guessing maybe she started feeling really good in her body by eating healthy, and so she just kept going with it. And it's amazing, because 10 months is a long time when you don't know if it's going to work or not, to hang in there. And so yeah, that inspired me so much. And then I found out that I had MS, I think shortly after that. It was really weird to me. So and I had learned from somebody else, kind of he was like a health person, kind of a teacher, and then he became a doctor. So I learned it from him about health too. So I knew that food did make a difference, but I didn't really understand it. But I thought I had nothing to lose, so I might as well just start eating healthy. So the first thing I did was, I've never been perfect at her protocol, but I started doing the most basic things. I started incorporating like the leafy greens, like eating more salads, cutting out wheat, cutting out dairy, cutting out extra sugar, I still had occasional sugar. I pretty much cut out wheat full on at the beginning. I kind of went back and forth over the years on how I was going to do it, but at first I was really strict about it. So I would literally wake up and make myself like an organic egg omelet with organic vegetables, and I would have some sour cream and salsa on top of it. So, like, I guess people just have to play with it the way that works for them. So I never could go completely extreme all in, but I would just eat as healthy as I could each and every day, and I started feeling really good. And that was pretty much the beginning, and then I just kept doing that over the years. And so what Terry Wahls talks about is when she would go off of her very healthy diet, mostly paleo type diet with like organic meats and stuff. I mean, people can do what works for them, but that's just what she did, and that's what I did too. She sometimes, if she would eat something, maybe eat something wrong for too long, like maybe for me it only takes like one day of eating wrong for too long that day, which I don't do very often. She would get these, she calls them zingers. She would get like numbness in her face, and that was her warning sign to like get back on track. So I get those too. If I rarely have them, but if I eat really bad for like the day, eat too much wheat, too much sugar, usually those are the two things that do it. Dairy doesn't really affect me so much, but then I'll get like this like numbness on my face, and I'll feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to just get back on track. So it's kind of been just listening to my body and adjusting as I go. But during this whole time, I've not been taking medication at all. I'm not saying people shouldn't take medication. People need to do what's right for them and what their doctor prescribes and what they feel comfortable with. But what I'm just saying is my experience. And I'm just saying that it gave me a lot of hope to know that there was like something I could do to work towards being better. And now that I know that Terry Wahls got so bad and healed it completely and turned it around, I'm not so strict with myself. If I get those numbness feelings, I like get back on track right away. But otherwise, I'm not so strict with myself, because I feel like anytime it gets a little bit worse, if it seems like it is, which it really never does, I just fix it right away. And I always know, because she was so bad and got better, that I feel like as long as I just do the best I can each day, I could pretty much keep it in check. Now, I need to, of course, make corrections over time, but food is so powerful and it nourishes our body. And I thought it was really interesting that the supplements, I do believe supplements do work much of the time. I take a vitamin D liquid supplement, and I take vitamins. So it's not that, but the supplements weren't rebuilding the covering to her nerves. It was when she was eating the food with those nutrients in it that the nerves rebuilt. And so that was so inspiring to me. Anyways, so that's my first step of how I started like this journey at the very beginning of this 11 years. Anyways, I hope what I'm saying helps you, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye.